Hey everybody, it's Lester Martin from Datavolo, and we're up for another Datavolo Community Broadcast. This is number 5. Today I got a special treat. I got my good buddy, Sean Petrie. He's our, as it says on the bottom, customer success manager here. And what he's going to spend some time with us, I don't want to steal his thunder, but he's going to talk about ingesting files for these data pipelines that are feeding those cool AI apps. And files are in our case unstructured docs. And what's really important here is not just to have a simple anyone can read a directory and say go crazy, but how do you make sure you're reading things that need to be read, especially after you've processed and got started? So he's going to really focus on that change data capture piece. We've got it working on a couple spaces, but I think Sean, as he'll tell you, is going to focus in on the Google Drive spaces, maybe our initial target that we're pulling from. So without further ado, I will stop talking, turn my share off, and let Sean introduce themselves. And those that have watched the show before know that I will continue to interject often with insightful questions and sometimes with just a waste of time. So, Sean, you've been forewarned. All right, welcome to the show.
Hey Lester, thanks man. Yeah, as Lester said, I'm the customer success manager at Datavolo. My role is just making sure that your customers, even prospective customers, get the value they expect out of the product, right? The liaison, typically the liaison between the customer, and engineering and support and partnerships, whatever it may be. So yeah, that's my
So,
role.
so some people you are Data Volo. It sounds like you're got your fingers in
I,
everyone's
I'm
out
the
on
tip of
our
the
side.
iceberg. I'm the tip
Yeah,
of the iceberg.
tip of the
Yeah.
spear, tip of the
Tip of the
spear,
spear. Tip of the
tip of the
spear.
spear. I love
Oh, the
it.
iceberg has a whole big army behind it, a massive
Vanguard,
behind it, right?
always
Yeah.
forward, as we said back when I was in the army. So tip of the spear. So what you got queued up for us today? What you gonna show us again? I know I said
Yes. Yeah. As you mentioned, we talk about change data capture. Because initially, if you look at NiFi prior or original NiFi, it was more about that we had this processor called fetch G drive, right? But that processor, it did a check or it was stateful enough that it can check to see what files were processed before, but it didn't really capture what if that file was removed, what if that file was updated, that would not have been captured, right? So
yeah.
you'd have kind of the one state. New, is it new? Yes, no, that's it. Um, but there's been more of a push for CDC, change data capture, right? If
Yeah.
a file has been changed, what if you processed a particular PDF, in our case, a PDF file before, that content has changed, you would not know it with the old list G drive. So we came up with this new processor called, change G drive capture, change data capture, right? So what I can do, I can show you how that
Change
works.
G drive CGDC, right?
Exactly.
Replace the middle initials with whatever platform, but
Exactly.
gotcha.
So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna share. Give me 1 second.
Ah, I love to share. Now, I'm going to make you bump it up too.
Sharing is
Okay, I can
caring.
read it. I can read it. Never
Yeah, I
mind.
bumped it up ahead of time. I saw the
You the
glasses.
man. You saw these glasses. You're like, Lester needs help. If
All
in
right.
doubt, go big. Go big.
Yeah. So typically you would have seen that the first process in this scenario would be that list G Drive or Google Drive
Absolutely. Yeah.
process I mentioned. And in place of that, we Datavolo we created this process I just spoke about. Um, And what this processor will do is, just as I mentioned, right, it will, tie to the typical GCP credential services, which is where you'll have your credentials.
Hmm.
In this case, for GCP, it's either that was service account JSON will be captured,
Right.
and then you identify what the G drive ID you want. The G drive ID that holds the content that you have interest in. Okay. Now, typically, in the old list, you'll just have in the original NiFi process, it'll just say success, which means, hey, has it been processed before? No, bring it in.
Yeah.
But as you can see with this processor, it's more around the fact that what has been created, something been created,
Yep.
has something been removed, or is something, or is an update to an existing file. So this is where that difference really kicks in. And that point, as you can see, there's the alternate paths. So in this case, we treat the created and updated as, yes, we want to process that even more. We want to fetch those, of course,
And
and remove.
create update, putting create and updated together for us is primarily because I think later when we ultimately get to store something to a vector database, we just do an upsert, if that
Correct. We have to treat it differently,
perfect.
right?
So create updated, same workflow for us. I got you.
Same, they're right. They're treated kind of the same, but removed is treated completely different. That's why it's often a different path. Most likely, we take this, we go to the target and remove the removed files from the target, right? Or remove content, right? So that's why we have separate paths. So this is the original processor fetching. So basically, what has been processed. Let's see if we have processed. Fresh. Just checking real quickly. Yes, so we have 12 documents that are either new, updated, or deleted. In this case, 12 have been created or updated, 3 have been deleted. So this is the perfect example. You can right click on that, check the queue, and these are the list of files that have been either updated or are brand new. Okay.
Right. And again, for someone that did have a flow that it mattered, then we just go down down a different connection. They can see here's the creates, here's the updated. Awesome. But
Correct.
probably create and updated for everybody will be pretty close to this, the same thing.
Right. And then there are 3 that are no longer that no longer exist.
Now,
Now,
when you looked at that removed, pop it back in that list queue. It's kind of
sure.
cool here. I think you're right. When the old list G drive or whatever, I bet it pretty much just worked on file names, and file names,
Yeah,
or maybe just looked at timestamp, anything new since this. And there's a great
exactly.
example. There's a couple files that have the exact same file name. They've been all over the place. Yeah, gotcha.
They're
There's
slightly different. One is a hyphenated and one is a period.
okay.
Yes.
I bet it would still work if they were in different places because
Yes,
all going to
exactly.
use that UUID. Gotcha.
Exactly. Yes.
I didn't miss. See, I told you my vision's bad. You're right. There's an underscore versus a.
Sorry, I can't zoom this in any bigger. It'll be like.
See what about dumb questions? There's question number 1. I'm going to run a tally. Dumb 1, none.
Not dumb question. Not dumb. All right. Okay. Sorry, I'm running a bit. Yes. Yeah. So what we do, if it's new or has been updated, we want to fetch those, right? If it's removed, of course, you can't fetch what's removed. We're just gonna actually treat that differently. So that's why it's a different path, right? For both of them, what we do in the next processor called the update attribute is that we actually want to capture the original location, including the full URL. So that's what these are doing for both of them, right?
Yep.
Go into that. You'll see here that it's actually creating that using the attributes, right? Using the attribute of the file, which will be this attribute here. And we're actually going to use that as the original source URL. So basically, if you can actually click that and get right to the file if you had access to it, it's just the exact file name, file link. Okay.
Cool.
And then we further, I'm not going to cover removing empty emails, not necessary, but we then can further process this along as we go on. As you can see, there's 2 what we call output ports. Basically, when you are within a process group, this is a process group within the main process group. If you're working within an internal process group, you have to have a pathway out, and that's what these ports are, output ports. The PDF path, the deleted path.
Yep. Little underlying NiFi basics. Yep.
Underlying NiFi basics correctly. So what happens here is after we got it, you see the PDFs are now going to be further processed. We're now going to we're now going to review those PDFs that they updated and the new documents to see if they actually are new, right? Or if we already have that. We just need to double check.
If duplicate.
Yes. Check
Something
if duplicate content.
Content. Right? Gotcha.
Right. And the way we do that is for any new or updated files, yes, but for lesson purposes, let's go really. I'm just kidding. for less than my purpose, because my eyes are watering right now looking at this tiny thing. But yes, what we do is for every file coming in, we create a hash, right? We hash every content. All right, you all know what hash is, but we have the ability to use different methods. In this case, we message 8 to 6. You can choose your hash method of choice.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so that creates that unique hash.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that point on, we have a database that actually has a collection of all the other files that pass through the hash equivalents of all these other files. So
Gotcha.
what we're doing is going to look up to see if if the file changed or not. If it's changed, then we go ahead and process. If not, we don't, right? We don't have to update the hash
Gotcha.
properties. And if it's changed, then yeah, we update the hash properties, stored right back in this location with an update SQL. Okay. In this case, the exec SQL, it's actually SQL statement, right? And these tables, in this case, these tables are stored in Snowflake,
Okay, so
but it can be in any source.
all right, let me go see if I can get dumb question number 2. So this is handling the created and the changed, created or updated. The hash is based primarily, I mean, a file, regardless of where it lives in the folder. The hash is made up on the UUID, or is that made up on the file name?
No, the hash is created on the file content itself.
Oh,
So yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
I got.
So if you,
Oh, okay. So I got it. The flow told us is updated or is whatever already. That's what I was wondering. Are we trying to refactor that? But what you're telling me is we're trying to find out if content change versus maybe metadata or something else might have changed. I got it.
Correct.
This is how we're
Yes,
going to. We didn't get a flag that said, "Hey, by the way, the content changed." We're just going to hash content compare with
there
the
was a
previous.
change. That's perfect. That's great. That's great that you mentioned that, because the change could be permissions change.
Yeah,
doesn't necessarily mean the file itself changed. So we're just capturing any change.
Thank you for that.
Good point to mention there, because I didn't mention that we're tracking permissions changes also. Great question. You call that a dumb question?
No, it was a dumb question because I thought we were like,
It's a great question.
I thought we were trying to figure out, is this an add or a change? I'm like, didn't we already know that? No.
Nah, it's a great question.
We're saying that, yeah, the change may or may not be changing content.
Content, right? And so if it is changing content, we have a merge into statement, which is upsert, and then you update the hash with the new hash, right? The old hash with the new hash, right? Great question. And then from that point on, we go on to the distinct, which will be an auto pass out, and then duplicate, it has an auto path. So I think that's what we can cover on the topic of CDC with Datavolo, right?
Any chance we could put you on the spot? Do we have access to go play with that G drive and just throw another file in there just for giggles? Any random PDF just to see it percolate down here in the flow? We don't have to go any further.
You wanted us to pass it all the way through to see how it looks?
No further. Let's go. What if we just threw another PDF out on the G drive itself, and we make sure that our flow is still running and picks it up? Because I imagine there's a little bit of a pause there because obviously we either
it's here. It stopped because we didn't. The rest of the flows are turned off.
Okay, I got you. Could we? But
so I can turn on and process these through. I don't have to get a new file.
Yeah, no, that's fair. If we threw another file on the G drive, though, that 12 would bump up to 13, right?
This part is on, so this would continue.
Let's do that. Let's go. If you got a second, you don't have.
I don't have access to that. I don't have access to that G drive.
I love it. Sorry. I love security. Well, for those viewers, see, I set him up with an unplanned question. Absolutely, we would see that there, and then we could probably delete it too and watch it show up in the remove. Very, very cool. Hey, I appreciate this, and I think what we can do maybe on a future one is, if we want to, we maybe do something similar with. I would imagine it's the same for the most part with something like SharePoint or some kind of Microsoft solution. Obviously, the bits that we grab, how do we determine, are going to be completely different, but the flow should feel about the same. At least at the end of this, what we do with something, and that'd be cool to do. And maybe we can look at the security stuff another time too. But this is perfect. This is really what we need. It's a whole lot better than list and fetch. This is CGDC and fetch. So it's a really
CDC.
intelligent. It's an event-driven change data capture lister. Yeah,
right?
perfect. What we need
And
for our AI pipelines. Yeah.
right. I was gonna say, as long as the process is running, there's nothing you need to do. This will constantly be polling,
Yeah.
right?
Perfect. Perfect.
There's nothing you have to do. If the entire process is on. It's just a
Mhm.
constant flow of information. I don't know
Absolutely.
if you wanted, but I could have let this run through and to see what it
No,
looks
that's
like.
okay. I think you made the
know?
point. I think you made the
Okay.
point. Obviously, folks, definitely, we're going to post this up on our podcast places. I mean, we're only on YouTube today. We haven't got to our podcast platforms just yet,
Right.
but people are definitely going to put us some comments.
Mhm.
Add a comment below, like and subscribe, all that fun stuff people like to say. I love it.
Right.
I thank you for walking me through this. Made it sound so easy. I heard folks in the team talking about it. I'm glad you took some time to kind of walk me through it. I'm gonna
Right.
go add it to my flows right now because I've got some pretty simple list and fetch model right now that I need to go beyond. So this is incredible good stuff.
Right.
Anything else you want to show before we wrap her up?
No, I think we covered this. I mean, in the next
Good.
series we can go further, but I think this
Yeah.
covers the CDC service.
And then the good news or the bad news is for those those NiFi users out there, well, that top processor, if you look really close, it says io.datavolo. So it ain't going to be in open source Apache. Good news is you want to build your own,
Right.
go
Yes.
for it. Or come be a Datavolo
Sure.
customer. We got Datavolo two flavors. You got your Datavolo server. You can do your own runtimes, however you want to do them, bare metal, Kubernetes, whatever you want, or you can come to our hosted platform, software as a service environment. We absolutely would love you to come there. We're currently today in a private beta, but we're glad to add you to it if you come ask us about it. app.datavolo.ai is the link today.
Right.
But we encourage you to come do this. You don't want to write that code yourself. Come on and use our runtime. Pick up
And you
this
get to
and
hang with
any other
us, right?
and everything else in the kit and caboodle. This is just the front of the pipeline. The more
Yes.
awesome stuff is going to be a little later. And I'm going to grab you, Sean, if you don't mind, for some future demos and stuff. But
Sure.
all right, with that said, I think I'm going to pinch this one off and call it a day and let you get back to that gorgeous day.
Yes.
That is a pretty day.
Very few left. It's almost the end of summer, so.
What are you talking about? I like fall better than I like summer. So the good days
Good
are
point. Good point.
right
Good
around the
point.
corner. The good days are coming. So, all right. With that said, I'm going to cut you loose. I will catch you
All right.
soon. And for everyone else, thanks for participating and listening in. Let us know if you got some questions or comments. We are always watching those comment sections. So please chime in with anything you got, and we'll jump back on and help you out. Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, Lester. Bye,
Bye-bye now.
guys. Okay.